With me on Skype is Sandro Doulis. Did I pronounce that correct?
Yes, you did.
Excellent. He is the owner and founder of the SRL League, which can be seen on YouTube. That's SRL League F1. He is also a karting driver and racing enthusiast. So, Sandro, welcome. And how are you doing today?
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad to be here today with you, and I can't wait for the questions.
Oh, yes. So, actually, before we start, you're in Greece, right?
No, I'm half Greek, half German, but I'm living in Hamburg in Germany, so.
Oh, you're living in Germany. So, okay, cool. So what's the weather like in Germany right now?
It's actually quite nice, usually with a lot of rain and cloudy and stuff like that, but sun is shining and it's warm, so.
Good, yeah, we've had a bit of weird weather ourselves over here with rain. It seems like it constantly rains over here, which is odd for this time of year for us. So let's talk about the SRL League. How did that league come about? How did you start it and think it up?
Yeah, it all started in January of 2016. I was actually racing in F1 2014 online a little bit, and I was always quite disappointed that the drivers were always unfair and wrecking everywhere, and there was only one guy always in the lobby that was a fair driver. So I thought about doing a league, a championship with all the fair drivers of F1 2014 in it. And yeah, I started straight away, told my best friend at school the next day about it, and that's how SRL started.
That's fantastic. Are you happy with the growth from where it was when you started to where it is now?
Definitely. We started very small we had a grid of 4 drivers, maybe. And now we are live on YouTube, have a great commentator with Fox who is commentating the races live. We've got a big starting grid with great people there. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this league has grown.
And how would you like to continue to see it grow? Like, what are your future? Do you have future plans for it? Bigger grids? How would you like to see it grow in the future as you continue?
Yeah, for sure. We are definitely planning to make this league bigger. We have, of course, maybe you heard about it. We are going to have a GT Sport Championship, which starts in September. Definitely looking forward to that. Maybe we'll have a bigger starting grid. Maybe we're making a Formula 2 if the starting grid gets too big. And yeah, that's definitely something to look forward for the future.
Excellent. Look forward to that in September as well. So let's talk about the race that was yesterday. Pretty good race, I thought. I really enjoyed that one. And you had a pretty solid run in that Singapore Grand Prix as well. And tell us about your race from your perspective behind the driver's seat of how you thought that race went.
Yeah, it was quite hectic. I watched it back yesterday, and that was a good race, man.
It was.
The conditions were quite difficult. I mean, when the rain came down, I had a great battle for Prix with Jesper and me. When the rain came down, we all got quite surprised because we just went past the pit lane and then the rain came down, the track got wet very fast, and coming to the end of the lap, we were just sliding everywhere. Like, the track was wet, we were still back on slicks. In one corner, me, Meek, and I think Cameron we all went off. I half spun my car. So we were all glad when we made it into the pit lane. Yeah, and when the safety car came out, it actually turned out the safety car was for the bad conditions.
Is that what it was for? Because I couldn't tell at first. I was like, why is the safety car being deployed? I thought it was just a wreck that we made a miss, so it was for the conditions.
Yeah, it was for the conditions. That's actually what Jeff told me on the radio.
Nice.
So yeah, the rest of the race got a little bit ruined, unfortunately, because on the last lap of the safety car, Yannick warmed up his tires up front, and he broke really hard, and that caused a big checkup where I tried to avoid the back of Rene and unfortunately hit his back, so that damaged my front wing, and that suffered my pace for the rest of the race, unfortunately.
Oh man, that's just a racing deal right there, isn't it? That's
unfortunately, shit happens.
Yes, exactly. Have you been happy with your season thus far in SRL? Do you think you've had a pretty good season?
It's been a quite up and down season, yes, but we were improving, definitely, with, I think, 2 or 3 podiums to this point. We were improving at the beginning of the season. I wasn't really good, but we improved our pace, and I hope to be back fighting for race wins again, like I did in season 1 and 2.
And what do you to get those wins? What kind of areas do you think you would like to improve upon for next season? Is there a specific area you think you need to get better in with the car?
Definitely the tire wear. I'm going really hard on the tires. I usually I wreck these tires all the time. Like I've got really difficult. I'm really difficult on the tires, so I definitely need to improve that for next season. And if we do that, I think we could have a pretty nice season 4 next time out.
Excellent. So let's talk about your karting adventures. You're also quite the racer, I understand, in the karting. So tell us about kind of your karting experiences and tell us about what kind of kart you drive and where do you race?
Yeah, I started go-karting 8 years ago. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I'm not in the big categories because of the money, it's really expensive stuff.
Racing is
expensive. But I'm racing here in the north of Germany in the Haspa karting championship. I won the championship for the last 2 years. I had a winning streak of 15 races, but which ended last week, unfortunately, because I had engine trouble, so I finished P3. But yeah, I'm trying everything to make it out of that category of racing because I want to move up. I'm now 15 years old. I need to get going if I want to make it into the bigger tiers of motorsports.
So you had a 15-race winning streak. That's something that Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick haven't been able to do this season.
Yeah, right. But
that's impressive. That's very impressive.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah, so it's been this season in karting. It's been pretty good. Are you in the middle of a season, or is this off season? Or are you leading the points right now? How's that going? This season?
Yeah, we have 4 races into the season now. I'm leading the point standings by 29 points? No, 29. 32. Yes. Yeah, 32 points. So that's a big lead. We are running the normal point system of FIA, like 25 points for the win and so on.
Okay.
So that's quite comfortable. We've got, how many races do we have? 8 races left this season, so yeah, looking forward to the next few races.
And that would be your 3rd championship in a row if you were to win that?
Yes, the 1st championship in a row. I'm looking for other events as well in go-karting, maybe probably taking part of the 6-hour race in May. Definitely looking forward to that. So
yeah, and I bet they'd be glad to see you go. Some of the other guys could start winning a few races. They'd be like, yeah, let him go on and do something else so we can have a chance at it. So how long have you been racing? You said you started racing 8 years ago?
Yeah, I started racing 8 years ago. And yeah, it was I always been into racing, I started watching F1 when I was, 2 years old with my dad.
Yes.
So he was like, it was holidays, and he was like, come on man, let's go to the go-kart track. And I was like, oh yes, come on, let's do it. So we went to the track, and I actually finished my first race in 5th, and my dad was really impressed, and he was like, oh man, you're so good, let's do this more often. And yeah, that's how it started basically.
Born natural racer. Yeah, I was going to ask you, how was it when you first got into it? Did you take to it when you first started? And it sounds like you did. Sounds like you took right to it. So, born natural racer. So what are your big dreams and future plans in racing? What would you like to see happen and hope to see happen in racing?
The ultimate goal for me is, of course, getting into F1. Every racing driver, that's for every racing driver, that's the goal.
Yeah, it's the pinnacle, yeah.
Yeah, but first of all, I have to see that I make it into the bigger tiers of motorsports, into the junior categories, for example, Formula 4.
Yeah.
I'm working hard on getting into there. I actually got a good chance of joining the Ginetta Junior Championship in Britain. Unfortunately, I'm still missing the money. I'm searching for a sponsor right now. I got a guy helping me there, so yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to in the future. I gotta get going now. I'm 15 years old, but it's looking good.
Time is of the essence. The Ginetta Junior Championship, those are the cars, right?
Yeah, this sports cars.
That's right.
It's a supporting series of the British Touring Car Championship, and yeah, I'm looking forward to
I love watching the British Car Championship, and the Ginettas. I don't know if you've ever played Project Cars. They have those things on there, and those things are quite fun.
Yeah, I unfortunately don't own Project Cars 2 yet. I played it at a friend's house, but I'm going to get it soon, especially if I make it into Ginetta Junior. That's good for practice in my simulator, so yeah. I know they are in Project Cars too.
Yeah, those are a lot of fun. I wasn't very good at it though because I would on my downshift. I guess I'd put too much load in the back of the car going into the corner, and I always spin the back end around. I had a problem with that. I wasn't very good at it. Hopefully, you're a lot better at it than I am. So let's talk some racing now. You drive a Ferrari in the SRL league. So I wanted to get your opinion. What do you think about Ferrari this season? And there's his Ferrari shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, here we go.
Look at there. I gotta get my I got my McLaren shirt around here somewhere. But what do you think of Ferrari this season in F1? I mean, do you think that this is their year? Because what's very surprising, we've had 3 races so far in Formula One, and Mercedes has yet to win. So do you think that, which I'm actually pretty thrilled about, I will admit I'm not a big Mercedes fan, but do you think that this is Ferrari's year in Formula One?
Yeah, I'm really impressed from the first 3 races. I didn't expect that to happen after pre-season testing. And especially when we came out of Melbourne, I was like, yeah, we were lucky with the safety car, but Mercedes is definitely the fastest team out there, especially in qualifying with Hamilton taking pole by 7/10. But when we went to Bahrain, I was really impressed by their pace. Like they stepped up their game, definitely from 2017. I already thought that 2017 was good, but they're looking quite strong right now. They got to keep up their game. Gotta score many points. They actually got their luck on the side this season, until now at least. So let's see how it goes. And yeah, I'm excited for the rest of the season.
Yeah, so what do you think about Max Verstappen's move into the hairpin at China, taking out Sebastian Vettel? What do you think of that move?
Yeah, Verstappen has been a bit over aggressive for the last few races.
Say.
I think, definitely.
You don't say. Yeah.
He got to calm down a little bit. It's always good when a driver is aggressive. We want to see that. That's excitement. That's great for the F1. But he got to calm down a little bit. He got experience now. It's not a rookie mistake anymore, like Sebastian said. Yeah. He got to calm down a little bit, but I think he will do that and he will grow up.
Good, yes. I still think, he still is, to me, probably one of the most fun drivers to watch because, he makes moves that other guys would think impossible. And that is fun when you see a driver do that. But there has to be a level to it because he certainly did get a little out of control in the Chinese Grand Prix. And it cost both of them pretty big. So this is kind of cool, but I know you're also a NASCAR fan. How in the world did you get to watching NASCAR?
Oh yeah, that's a long story. I've been following NASCAR since I think 2009.
Yeah.
But I wasn't able to watch it here in Europe and Germany. It's not that big of a deal.
That's what I thought when you were like a big NASCAR fan. I was like, how in the world is he watching NASCAR? Yeah.
I actually don't know how I do that. I started watching it when I hear that my idol Jeff Gordon is going to retire. That's when I started figuring out to watch every single race. I'm streaming then on the internet. I actually found a platform where I can watch it, so I'm glad about that. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. The unpredictability is amazing. You always have so many people that can actually win the race.
Yes.
So yeah, I really enjoy watching NASCAR.
Do you think, because I know Liberty Media has been talking about trying to get Formula One to that point where, NASCAR on any given day, the thing goes is any given Sunday, any NASCAR driver could potentially win the race. So do you think that would be good for something like Formula One where any team could win?
I think not really. F1 has always been a sport where you always got the top teams battling it out between each other. I think you shouldn't change things that have been forever, that worked in the past. And I think in NASCAR it's because they're stock cars, Everybody basically has the same equipment. Right. But in F1 you got the teams, you got the manufacturers. I think you shouldn't change that.
I actually agree with you. part of the fun of Formula One is, and what NASCAR used to be back in the old days, is that, you were allowed to tinker with the cars and you could show up with whatever you wanted. And then at some point, NASCAR was like, no, all the cars have to be this, and this. There is really no difference between the Toyota, the Ford, and the Chevy. If you were to look at all the cars up close, there's just minute details in the body frame, but really, it's not really a Ford Fusion out there on the racetrack, But in the old days, it kind of was the stock car. But, I don't think that... part of the fun of Formula One, I think, has always been that the teams were able to do what they wanted to do to make a faster car, and I think that should stay. I do think that should stay. But the last time, I think you're are you a Chase Elliott fan?
I am, yes.
Yes.
Number 9.
Oh, yes. I was a big Bill Elliott fan growing up, so I like Chase. I hope he does well. But I wanted to get your opinion on this. The last time Hendrick Motorsports went a year without winning a race was 1985. That is just how good that organization has been. Since 1986, they've won a race at least once in a year. Do you think that Hendrick will go the 2018 season without winning a race? Because that's been some of the rumors, is what's going on with Hendrick Motorsports.
I honestly don't think so. They got the new Camaro. The first few races were difficult for them, but as you have may seen in Richmond, they stacked up the game. They improved their car, their pace, and I think if we go later onto the season, they will be right up there fighting for wins. They're improving the race pace, and I think. Yeah, and when we come to the end of the season, they will definitely fight for wins. I don't think they will go winless this season.
It's hard to say that Hendrick won't go winless because they're the best. They're one of the best teams out there. If you just look at everything they do, they'll get it together eventually. What did you think of that race last night?
Oh yeah, that was, in my opinion, was quite a good race. Everybody came and go. And
I like that. I like that. Watching the track change and seeing the different cars, because no one ever really dominated the race. I wouldn't say there was one dominant driver. Everybody had their shot at it at some point. Right?
Indeed. Yeah. You look at the stats, you see Logano won stage 1 and 2, and you're like, he probably dominated.
Yes.
He didn't. It was always a battle for the lead, and I really enjoyed that race. That's how it should be. That was good racing.
Yeah, man. Penske, as a Penske fan, Roger Penske's team always has this ability. It amazes me that they can lead a race at the first bit of it, and then just totally lose it in the end. They just have this ability they do it in sports car racing all the time. IndyCar, they're not bad, but it seems like in NASCAR, the Penske guys are always right up there in the top 5 in the first couple of stages, and then by stage 3, they're like, where'd they go? Where'd the Penske guys go? And it happened last night with Joey Logano. I was like, Logano, what are you doing, man? So, when you're not racing, what do you like to do? Do you have any other hobbies other than racing, or are you just full-on racing all the time?
Most of the time I'm full-on racing, to be honest. I'm just really into racing. If you could see my room out there, everything is racing.
I see the poster.
Yeah, that's Robert Kubica, so...
Oh, were you upset that he couldn't make a return? I was kind of hoping he'd be able to come back.
Yeah, I hope that as well, but, Williams getting Sirotkin in, you could argue about that one, but...
Yeah, Williams ain't scored any points this season.
No, they are not looking good right now. They are definitely in trouble, especially with Martini and ending the sponsorship at the end of the season.
Yes.
So, they are in trouble, in my opinion.
Yeah. Do you, what kind of... When you're getting ready for a race... What do you do to kind of hype yourself? Do you listen to any type of music, or what do you kind of do to get in the mode right before you go to a race? Do you have a ritual?
Real life racing or sim racing and league racing?
Real life racing, either one.
I usually listen to music when I'm in the car going to the track. And right before I jump into the cart, I'm always sitting down, thinking to myself, having the track in my head, and I'm calm. I'm really calm. I always try to calm myself down before the race, and that works quite good, and I've been doing this forever, basically, so...
Yes.
Yeah, so that works quite good.
And what kind of music do you listen to when you're getting ready? Do you have a certain playlist or a certain go-to band?
I have my pushing playlist basically.
Pushing, yeah.
I call it like that.
Yeah.
It's a mix of pop and a little bit of rap, which hypes me up for the race, and I feel confident to jump into the cut and win this race. And so yeah, that's basically what I do.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Sandro, thank you so much for talking with me this morning. It was an absolute pleasure, and we will see you out there on the racetrack.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, mate. I'm glad that I was here today, talking to you, and yeah, let's see what comes up in the future.
Yes, of course, and see you in Japan in the next SRL race.
Yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks at Suzuka.
Yes.